Hello, Z.
Hey, Professor Golden.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good. Hello, Miss Crandall.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, good. I'm a one-man show today. So I have been a one-man show for a while, but if you hear my kid, she's going to be muted. So if you need me, just get my attention. Other than that, I'm going to be mommy mode.
Okay,
Good.
well, you know what? Hey, that's okay. Kids and pets are usually part of the class.
Oh my gosh, it's just like I was like, seriously? The moment that I was like, I have a Zoom appointment, seriously, and you pick up and leave? Man.
They don't care.
No, it's the United States government. They don't see my birthday either.
Yeah, that's okay.
Always whenever it's my birthday, my husband's always gone. From the time that we have been together, he has been gone on my birthday. And I've just accepted that my birthday just does not exist.
Well, that's not cool.
That's what I said.
Boy, if I'd known that, I would have brought you a sheet cake and we would have threw a party.
So I said, say hi.
Hey, honey.
Say hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, this is what mommy's on the computer all the time for.
Yeah. look like somebody already gave a persuasive speech.
Oh. Done very well. Okay. I got the diagram and everything.
That's okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna go on and get right to it. I don't want to keep you all too long. But we do have a little bit to cover. First of all, I want to compliment most, even though they're not here, but in regards to the second elevator pitch we do. It definitely was an overall improvement. I guess some folks early on did not, for some reason, and I laid everything out as best I could, aside from mailing it to their house, did not get the memo. And even with that, there are a handful of folks still who did not get the memo in terms of how to do an elevator pitch, even though I provided the script, gave you the script. All you had to do was learn it, not read it, learn it, and spit it out. But that's in the past now. We are moving forward, and informative talks, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. That is due this evening, and I see where it's being populated. So I will definitely grade. Also, this session is being recorded, and it will be posted in the student lounge once done. So that said, we're going to get right to it. Hopefully it's not an echo or whatever. I have a 7:30 class this evening here at College Park. So I'm here at College Park again and doing the virtual thing. So I got here a little early so that I can honor my commitment to you and, appreciate you being here. Just in case some folks might be scratching their head or whatever, these sessions are optional. I really don't have to do these, but I do these because I want to disperse some clarity and take Q&A or whatever so that I can help to guide my students on the right path to success doing their assignment successfully. And this is something that you can't get solely off reading posts. This is why I'm doing this. I really don't have to do this, but I chose to do this every class, every semester, so that I can help my students, have some clarity in terms of how to approach the assignment. And so what happens is, I know that there's some folks who are deployed And some folks, you know, in terms of their work and things of that nature, and this is why I recorded and posted. But, you know, those that aren't here or don't view the post or whatever, they just go out, sometimes some of them go out and do what, I guess, whatever they think needs to be done, then they botch it and don't do the assignment, and then get a little perturbed when they get a low grade. Well, again, as I said before in my announcements, students that either attend the virtual sessions or review the virtual recording usually score higher grades than those that don't at all, usually on average. So I just want to make that clear, okay? I'm doing this for my students, and you know, that be you. So let's get right to it here. Moving forward here in the next couple of weeks, you will have persuasive presentations due. Now, persuasive presentation is a little bit more involved than your informative speech, which was 3 to 4 minutes. We're talking about a 6 to 7 minute presentation, and you can validate that time range in your syllabus. It is posted the time range. And as I've always said with every presentation, that's the first thing I'm going to look for, whether you are over or under the time. And then we go from there. Now, the way to construct a good a persuasive presentation is to do what I call the, I guess you can say the Monroe's motivated sequence. This was pulled together by a gentleman by the name of Alan Monroe. This concept was founded in the 30s, and it's still being used today as an overall outline on how to structure your persuasive talk. So I'm going to share an image with you. And again, this will show up after midnight, after this class is over, in the announcements with the attachments of some of these documents. So one thing you want to think about with your informative speech, one, you want to pick a topic, again, that you're passionate about and take a position either for it or against it. Let's just say, I'll use this for convenience sake. You know, you choose to talk about COVID. Well, as you know, there's some people who don't believe that COVID is a thing, even on their deathbeds. But I don't want to go too far into that. But there's some people who do believe that it's a thing. I'm one of them. I do believe. I'm double vaxxed. I wouldn't be able to be out here on the campus, and I got my mask with me. The only reason why I don't have it on is I'm the only one in this room. But we're 98% vaxxed here on the College Park campus. So the rhetorical triangle, and what you have to think about here when you begin to pull your talk together, is ethos, logos, and pathos. This was created by Aristotle. And pretty much what the ethos focus on is the speaker. The pathos focus on your audience, which you've heard me talk about. It should always be about your audience. And the logos is your message. So let's break this down a little further. The speaker, bottom line, is what makes you credible on this particular topic. In other words, I have no business talking about, and I'm using it for convenience sake again, I have no business talking about COVID, given that I'm not a medical professional or a scientist, okay? So the speaker part, the ethos part, is really your credibility. What makes you credible about talking about this? Now, I can go into the lane about why I feel that you should take more communication and public speaking classes. Well, that's my lane. That's what I teach. That's what I do as a business. You know what I mean? So, and what's my credibility? Well, I've been teaching in this area between College Park, University of Maryland, and UMGC for over 20 years. I own an award-winning public speaking business, okay? So I got the cred. I've been out here doing this. So I can definitely talk to you about that. And that's my credibility. So I strongly encourage everyone to pick a topic that you would be considered credible on. Okay, one of the most inventive topics I've seen here at UMGC in regards to persuasiveness is, you know, why you should make the perfect steak. Why you should cook a steak on a certain day on the weekend. And the guy had opened up his kitchen and everything, and he was preparing the steak while he was talking and everything. And it was just incredible. So this can go as far as your imagination can take you. So now let's talk about the audience. What do you want the audience to do? What do you want the audience to think in your planning? What do you want the audience to feel? How do you want to leave them? Do you want them enthusiastic? Do you want them aware? Do you want them sad? You know, and I know no one else wants this. Do you want them angry? Of course not. But let's go back and let's take COVID again, for example. You're making the audience aware, and you're saying that in the call, it's followed by a call to action. In other words, do it now. Let's do it now. Get the shots now. Get the vaccine now. You know what I mean? That's usually a call to action. But you're also appealing to your audience. But now, this is where you go on into your logos. And this is your logic. In other words, your message. What are you basing this talk on? You can't talk about this without citing sources. So according to, just like in your informative talk, according to the CDC, according to certain individuals or whatever, it is said that, you know, you have a less chance of being hospitalized or dying if you get the shot, and follow that with masking up, even if you get it, you know. But you're citing your sources, and this is the logic behind it, not my personal feeling, not your personal feeling. This is your buffer. Your buffer is your research into this topic. Make sense? Okay, anyone have any questions on that part? All right, moving this thing forward. Meant to show you the Monroe's motivated sequence first, but here it is. All right. The Monroe's motivated sequence. This is pretty much at a high level how you will construct your talk, outline your talk, bottom line. Okay, so what's your title? I mean, what's your topic? Okay, now let's keep in mind, we will not select topics that are like personal agendas, offensive, or anything of that nature. So keep that in mind. If I sniff that out, I'm gonna snuff it out. All right. So don't go there. We're not trying to push personal agendas, anything of that nature. So pick something that you're passionate about, and pick something more importantly that your audience, i.e., classmates and me, would be interested in. Okay, so the hook. Now you've heard me talk about the hook in the informative part. We call that the attention getter. How are you going to hook your audience? How are you going to get their attention? Because remember, you got to get the audience attention right away. If you don't, then you've lost your audience. So are you going to tell a story? Are you going to quote? Are you going to ask a question, direct or indirect? Probably, since we're online, that'd probably be more indirect because you're not going to need a response. Are you going to say a statement? Are you going to level a statistic? Are you going to open with a line of humor? So you get to pick how you're going to hook your audience in. Next part of your talk, you're going to, what's the challenge and what's the problem? Okay? What's the challenge and what's the problem that you were highlighting? Okay? So the highlight, let's just say a challenge is global warming again. All right? That is a challenge, global warming. and how that the fact that, let's just say, the Amazon rainforest is burning at X amount of acres a day, and it is affecting climate change globally, given that the Amazon, and I can't quote the source, but I did hear this, is 40% of the world's oxygen comes through the Amazon rainforest, believe it or not. So how can we stop that from the fires and the overdevelopment of the Amazon? Now, what's the solution? How can we curb that? How can we reduce our carbon footprint from where we are here in America? So you're offering solutions. And again, these are based on your research. And you should orally cite your sources, at least 3 sources. Orally cite your sources. Next, you will share a vision of the future. Okay, so now we've reduced our carbon footprint. The air has gotten better. Respiratory issues have improved, asthma, all of this stuff here. If we reduce our carbon footprint, if we take more of an activist and support organizations that are reducing overdevelopment in the Amazon and reducing wildfires out west and reducing all of this stuff, we can have a better future where everyone, our children, can breathe better air. Next, your call to action. And the call to action should not be dancing around the bush. It should be direct. Do this now. Here's an 800 number. Call it. If you can't go to the protest, go to the website, go to the social media page and donate now. And that's what a call to action looks like. So again, in the structure, you got the hook or attention, you got the problem or the challenge, you got the solution, you got the future or visualization, and then you got the call to action. That should be the structure of your entire talk. And again, like I said, all the documents that are needed to succeed in this will appear by midnight tonight. It's already set up for you in the announcements. Comments or questions? Okay. I have a video to share with you, and it's by a gentleman by the name of Ron Finley, and he is considered an expert on, let's just say, taking blighted areas and turning them into healthy food environments. In other words, he started out on his street corner that had nothing but blotted grass, wine, beer bottles, everything, and he cleaned it up and turned it into a garden where the people in the neighborhood in the block can have healthy food options, because the part of the neighborhood that he lived in doesn't have grocery stores that have healthy food. And one thing I learned about him is that he's now part of this so-called master class on how to garden and stuff, because, partially because of his activism and this presentation. But one thing I like about this particular presentation that I'm going to share with you is it highlights the hook, it highlights the problem, it highlights the solution, it highlights the visualization, and it also has a powerful call to action. So let's take a listen as a further reinforcement example of what I'm talking about.
I live in South Central. This is South Central. Liquor stores, fast food, vacant lots. So the city planners, they get together and they figure they're gonna change the name South Central to make it represent something else. So they change it to South Los Angeles. Like this is gonna fix what's really going wrong in the city. This is South Los Angeles. Liquor stores, fast food, vacant lots. Just like 26.5 million other Americans, I live in a food desert. South Central Los Angeles, home of the drive-through and the drive-by. Funny thing is, the drive-throughs are killing more people than the drive-by. People are dying from curable diseases in South Central Los Angeles. For instance, the obesity rate in my neighborhood is like 5 times higher than, say, Beverly Hills, which is like probably 8-10 miles away. I got tired of seeing this happen. And I wonder, how would you feel if you had no access to healthy food? If every time you walk out your door, you see the ill effects that the present food system have on your neighborhood. I see wheelchairs bought and sold like used cars. I see dialysis centers popping up like Starbucks. And I figured this has to stop. So I figured that the problem is the solution. Food is the problem and food is the solution. Plus, I got tired of driving 45 minutes round trip to get an apple that wasn't impregnated with pesticides. So what I did, I planted a food forest in front of my house. It's on a strip of land that we call a parkway. It's like 150 feet by like 10 feet. Thing is, it's owned by the city, but you have to maintain it. So I'm like, cool. I do whatever the hell I want. Since it's my responsibility and I gotta maintain it, this is how I decided to maintain it. So me and my group, LA Green Ground, we got together and we started planting my food forest, fruit trees, the whole nine, for vegetables. What we do, we're a pay it forward kind of group, where it's composed of like gardeners from all walks of life from all over the city, and it's completely volunteer, and everything we do is free. And in the garden, it was beautiful. And then somebody complained. The city came down on me and basically gave me a citation saying that I had to remove my garden, which this citation would turn into a warrant. And I'm like, come on, really? A warrant for planting food on a piece of land that you could care less about? And I was like, cool, bring it. Because this time it wasn't coming out. So LA Times got hold of it. Steve Lopez did a story on it and talked to the councilman. And one of the Green Grounds members, they put up a petition on change.org. And with 900 signatures, we were a success. We had a victory on our hands. My councilman even called and said how they endorse and love what we're doing. I mean, come on, why wouldn't they? LA leads the United States in vacant lots that the city actually owns. They own 26 square miles of vacant lots. That's 20 Central Parks. That's enough space to plant 725 million tomato plants. Why in the hell would they not okay this? Growing one plant will give you 1,000, 10,000 seeds. When $1 worth of green beans will give you like $75 worth of produce. It's like it's my gospel. I'm telling people, grow your own food. Growing your own food is like printing your own money. I have a legacy in South Central. I grew up there. I raised my sons there. And I refuse to be a part of this manufactured reality that was manufactured for me by some other people, and I'm manufacturing my own reality. See, I'm an artist. Gardening is my graffiti. I grow my art. Just like a graffiti artist, where they beautify walls, me, I beautify lawns, parkways. I use the garden soil like it's a piece of cloth. In the plants and the trees, that's my embellishment for that cloth. You'd be surprised what soil could do if you let it be your canvas. you just couldn't imagine how amazing a sunflower is and how it affects people. So what happened? I have witnessed my garden become a tool for the education, a tool for the transformation of my neighborhood. To change the community, you have to change the composition of the soil. We are the soil. You'd be surprised how kids are affected by this. Gardening is the most therapeutic and defiant act you can do, especially in the inner city. Plus you get strawberries. I remember this time, it was his mother and the daughter came, they were, it was like 10:30 at night, they were in my yard. And I came out and they looked so ashamed. So I'm like, man, it made me feel bad that they were there. And I told them, you don't have to do this like that. This is on the street for a reason. It made me feel ashamed to see people that was this close to me that was hungry. And this only reinforced why I do this. And people ask me, Finn, aren't you afraid people are gonna steal your food? And I'm like, hell no, I ain't afraid they're gonna steal it. That's why it's on the street. That's the whole idea. I want them to take it, but in the same time, I want them to take back their health. There's another time when I put a garden in this homeless shelter in downtown Los Angeles. The guys, they helped me unload the truck. It was cool. They just shared the stories about how this affected them and how they used to plant with their mother and their grandmother. And it was just cool to see how this changed them instead it was only for that one moment. So Green Grounds has gone on to plant maybe like 20 gardens. We've had like 50 people come to our dig-ins and participate. It's all volunteers. If kids grow kale, kids eat kale. If they grow tomatoes, they eat tomatoes. But when none of this is presented to them, if they're not shown how food affects the mind and the body, they blindly eat whatever the hell you put in front of them. I see young people and they want to work, but they're in this thing where they're caught up. I see kids of color and they just on this track that's designed for them that leads them to nowhere. So with gardening, I see an opportunity where we can train these kids to take over their communities, to have a sustainable life. And when we do this, who knows? We might produce the next George Washington Carver. But if we don't change the composition of the soil, we will never do this. Now this is one of my plans. This is what I want to do. I want to plant a whole block of gardens. Where people can share in the food in the same block. I want to take shipping containers and turn them into healthy cafes. And now don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about no free shit, because free is not sustainable. Funny thing about sustainability, you have to sustain it. What I'm talking about is putting people to work and getting kids off the street and letting them know the joy, the pride, and the honor in growing your own food. Opening farmers markets. So what I want to do here, we got to make this sexy. So I want us all to become evolutionary, renegades, gangsters, gangster gardeners. We got to we got to flip the script on what a gangster is. If you ain't a gardener, you ain't gangster. Get gangster with your shovel, okay? And let that be your weapon of choice. So basically, if you want to meet with me, if you want to meet, don't call me. If you want to sit around in cushy chairs and have meetings where you talk about doing some shit, If you want to meet with me, come to the garden with your shovel so we can plant some shit. Peace.
I love it. One of my favorite call to action of videos. One of my favorite. But I think you kind of get the gist of this thing here. Okay. And again, clearly in the video, you see where Mr. Finley had the hook. And he talked about LA versus South LA. That got your attention or whatever. Talked about what the challenging problems are. He talked about possible solutions and also cited sources that backed him up. Although he's an expert in this, but he also cited other sources. And then he talked about what the vision looks like. You know, if kids plant tomatoes, kids eat tomatoes, people eating healthier. You know, because the problem was he highlighted dialysis machines, but people weren't eating that good and things of that nature. So he took his neighborhood and turned it into a healthy, I guess you could say food oasis, if you will. And then his call to action. He didn't mince words, you know. Hey, if you want to come see me, bring your shovel and plant some shiitake. So, you know, this is kind of what I'm talking about. So think about what it is that you're passionate about, and structure your talk and deliver it. You know, deliver your talk. Now, I laid everything out here in this virtual session, pretty straightforward and plain, I hope, for everyone. But I want to throw some other things out too, and I want to do a gentle reminder. 60 to 80% of all of your presentations, all of our presentations are nonverbal. Keep this in mind. One, learn your talk as best you can. All right, make good eye contact. That's me with the camera. You're looking at us. Do good gestures, okay? So if you're sitting down, do some gestures. I love to have it if you kind of stand up, you know, half your body or whatever, you know, stand up and talk. Make sure that your sound is good. Make sure that you have good lighting and things of that nature. All right. And when you do these things, now you have the perfect mix, especially if you've done your research on your topic and you're passionate about this topic. You have an opportunity to share something real good with us and get a good grade. I can't make it any simpler. If you do those things, that's my persuasive talk to you. You know, do those things. This is your this will be your third major presentation. And it is my hope that each of you will have evolved along the way. Started out with the elevator pitch. We started out with the redo. Now the informative is scheduled to be posted tonight. We've already talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Now we're talking about the persuasive talk. And, you know, we go from there. So any questions on anything I just shared with you?
Do you have any tips and tricks for the 6 minutes? Because that's a long time to talk to yourself.
Well, 6 to 7.
So, okay, 6 to 7. Do you have any tips or tricks for persuasive talks of, like, I understand like the breakdowns of everything, but do you have any tips and tricks besides finding something you're passionate about?
Well, that's kind of hard to do because that comes from inside you. You know, I always say we all have at least 10, 20 things that we're passionate about. It could range from anywhere from, you know, travel to, you know, things, you know, that you want to advocate about. You know, I don't know, you might have a passion for how to help the homeless, how to, you know, feed the hungry, childcare, you know, all kind of things. I mean, there's a plethora of things out there that we all have sat down and said, you know what? Why are they allowing this to happen? I could do a better job of that, or, you know, why don't we do more of this or whatever? And
so you were, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you take it and research it and run with it.
So could we add like, because he was put like videos or like pictures or something. Could we put our own like pictures or videos in like our informative, like our persuasive talk in somehow or in a way?
Well, now you got a little ahead of me. I was just going to say that informative. It wasn't a requirement. With the persuasive, you can. You know, and I highly recommend that to help bolster your point. You know what I mean? I highly recommend that. Now, also too, if you want to, feel free to run your outline and your topic and stuff by me. Let's not just make this a thing where, okay, 2 weeks from now, damn, there's your stuff. You know, run it by me and I'll vet it for you. So you want a good, interesting topic that's interesting to your audience. In other words, ask yourself, is this something that my classmates want to hear? 2, in the topic, you want to try to come up with a nice, interesting title, you know, something that's interesting. And then your outline, you know, your body, you know, 3 main points: introduction, body, and conclusion. Okay. And then, you know, do your references and stuff like that. And that could be a part of your outline. So, but do your research on it. And I guarantee you, you will find so much information that'll cover your, pretty much cover the time range. Okay. I would say for a good 6 to 7 minute talk, you probably need a good 4 pages. Oh, that goes by fast. Double space, 4 pages. You know, when you do your research and all of that stuff. Yeah.
No, you make that sound just like you're cooking dinner, but it's not like you're just cooking dinner. That's like having a whole long 6-minute-and-a-half conversation with yourself, okay?
Well, okay, you're cooking dinner and you're having some wine.
Maybe.
And dessert.
I don't necessarily think that that's a good idea. I've done a couple discussion posts with that. Not so hot.
I don't know. Hey, you're home. But
You're telling me no driving and drinking. You do not approve.
there's a persuasive topic right there. There's a persuasive topic right there. Yeah. So you know, so they're all around. They're all around you. They're all around us. You know, persuasive topics. You know what I mean? And just have fun with this thing and continue kicking butt just like you've been. What's going on, Edward? Edward having some audio challenges. But like I said, in addition to your content, think about the nonverbals. If you're gonna sit down, which is no problem, we just gotta have that eye contact, we gotta have that gesture, we gotta have that posture. And same thing if you choose to stand. All right? So some of you have killed it. So we you know, we go from there. Any other questions? Okay. Well, again, like I said, I extend the offer. Please feel free to run the topic title and your outline by me. And you fill that in. That's your script, just like an actor, get their script, you know, learn that thing and do it. And yes, I wholeheartedly welcome visuals. Now, if you notice in Mr. Finley's video, he didn't have no visuals with a bunch of words and paragraphs and stuff like that. Those are what I call PowerPoint no-nos. You either have a picture, an image, or maybe 3 bullet points, 3 or 4 bullet points of something. Okay? Because you don't want your audience trying to read what you have while you're talking. You want them focused on you. That's the whole thing with the presentation. Cool beans? Questions? Comments? Anybody give a damn? All right. Well, what's going on, Edward?
Oh, nothing much. I tried to get in earlier, but my work held me up. I was really trying to make it today.
That's okay, man. I recorded it. I'll post it in the student lounge, man. So there's something in there for you. You know, I understand, man. You got to pay the bills, baby.
Yeah, and they're not that whole having a schedule thing isn't exactly something that they pay attention to. So I knew once I got a promotion, like they would be calling me significantly more. I just didn't think it would be constant. They've been very constant with it. So, but we had like 78 petabytes of data backed up, so I couldn't exactly tell them to hold on.
Well, you know, like Jay-Z said, more money, more problems.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, a lot more.
That's okay, man. It's all right. Keep rolling. But I'm going to post this in the student lounge, and you can take a look, see. And if you have any questions, hey, and also too, if you want to, we just talked about the persuasive topics. Same thing. Pick something that you're passionate about. Tonight at midnight, or should I say in the morning at midnight, an announcement will appear with all the attachments and documents and things that I discussed in the video or whatever, as well as an outline that you can just kind of fill in. You know, you don't have to use that one, but I've just given you an example. And, you know, feel free to run it by me if you have any questions, okay? Talk for 6 to 7 minutes, I believe. And I believe that's posted in the syllabus as well. And hey, man, you know, open, highlight a challenge or problem, come up with a solution based on your research, not yours only. Paint a visualization of the future. Hey, if we take on this challenge and solve it, and then your call to action. You know what I'm saying? And you know, let's have something that our audience want to hear. Stay away from controversial. You know what I mean? The three rails: what politics, religion, and something else or whatever. You know, nothing offensive. But definitely challenges that we have out here that we need to solve or that you're passionate about. Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good for me.
Okay, you all are the freaking best, man. I tell you, you all are freaking first class. All right, well, if you have no more questions for me, I know I stand between some of you and dinner. I have no more questions for you, no more answers for you. Okay? Have a good day, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. We'll be on the downhill side then. All right? Talk to you later.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.